From Tampa Bay's #1 news station, this is the Fox 13 4 o'clock news.
We are well into the summer break, but instead of letting your kids zone out by watching TV or something like that, they could be learning a new language.
Yeah, how about that? Chip Brewster's checking out the perfect camp for kids who may want to learn a second language. Chip, where are you at this morning or this afternoon? It feels like morning.
It
for
is
some
an
reason.
intense program. It's okay, afternoon. Sometimes it happens to the best of us. But this is like, they immerse you in it. It's not just come in, sit down, write something over and over, say something over and over. For instance, this classroom where they are teaching Arabic, come on in here. They get into the social, the cultural side of things. So they do hands-on projects. They are up and dancing at one point. I saw them in here and learning the language. Who knows how to say hi in Arabic? He's the first with his hand up. Let's hear it.
Assalamu alaikum.
All right, good job. So this is intense because this is an 8-week-long program, 5 days a week, 8 hours days. And they've got Arabic, they've got Mandarin, they've got Spanish, and in our first big segment coming up, coding in Spanish. Yes, computer coding, combining a couple of things. Yeah. So we're going to tell you a bit more about this program and ReDefiners World Languages as a whole.
I like these summer camps for the brain.
I know. It's great to see the kids sitting in there, learning, engaged, and it looks like they're having a good time doing it, too. Okay, we'll see how far we can get with coding coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks, Chip.
Still ahead, a summer full of learning. It's true. It's happening with these kids. Chip is taking us to a camp that's teaching kids new languages. Next.
You're watching the Fox 13 4 o'clock news.
Well, knowing how to write computer code can lead to really any number of opportunities. Now, imagine being able to do it in another language.
It's just ones and zeros, right? That's
Yes,
the computer.
that's it.
Yeah, it's just that easy, right? No, I have no idea how to code, but kids need to know it these days, and they're getting that opportunity this summer through a course called ReDefiners World Languages. Of course, coding one of those languages. Fox 13's Chip Brewster is in Tampa checking out the program, among others. Hey, Chip.
Yeah, and Chris, you kind of put the nail on the head there because I missed one key part. It wasn't programming in the language of Spanish. It was programming in their Spanish class. So they are programming in English, but coding in itself is a language all its own. So it fits really well with the whole ReDefiners World Languages efforts. And I have got Johanna joining me, and you are the program director
Yes.
here. And so this is one part Spanish class, and right now, one part coding.
Yes, here at ReDefiners, this is the Spanish class, and they are learning computer coding and robotics, in which they learn to program robots. So they get familiar and they get used to computer coding. So they through games, because they feel like they are playing, but they are learning. This is the STEM in which they apply science, technology, math,
Interesting. And why did you
engineering
guys decide to include coding into the program as opposed to just keeping it a purely Spanish class?
Okay, just to make them get familiar with the real world. When they go out, it will be easy for them to use that.
And have you yourself learned the language of coding?
I'm trying to.
Oh,
I'm
yes?
trying to, yeah, but I know it's a privilege for them to have this class.
So you get them really involved, really immersed, get them playing games. Is it the same with the other languages, the spoken languages? How do you, for instance, teach them Spanish?
Okay, it is immersion what we use, which is 100% the target language.
Okay.
So they get so excited because besides the language that they are learning, they are also learning other things like in Arabic. They learn how to play tattoos in their skin and like those are traditional things, cultural things. So they learn a lot of cultural things. So they just not only learn the language, but they also learn all the culture.
What is the overall goal of the program? Is it simply knowing the language, or is there something more?
Okay, we give opportunities to everyone. So they are in equal opportunities and to respect each other, to learn how to live with each other in harmony and respect. Because when we know that there's something that we are used to do, and maybe we're going to offend another person,
Sure.
and when we know, we're not going to do
There's
it. So
the
we're
cultural
living harmony.
understanding there. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, guys. And this is, as I mentioned, this is the Spanish/computer coding classroom. But they have some of the other languages, the lesser taught ones, Mandarin, Arabic, those ones have a special funding source. Like there's some encouragement there to get those programs in place, and they are teaching them. It is an intensive thing, though. 8 weeks, 5 days a week, 8-hour days. These kids know way more than I do when it comes to any of these languages.
Yeah.
I don't know, are either of you by chance surprisingly fluent in Spanish, Mandarin, or Arabic?
Un poquito. But just
I
a
know
little.
that you just said a little, but I wish, Chip, I really enjoyed Spanish in high school and college and kind of picked it up a little, well, I would say. My English isn't good, but, I do wish that I'd pursued that more, So, I'm glad to see that kids are doing that. I'm definitely encouraging my son to find a second language.
Listen, they're laughing too, which means they're having a good time. So maybe intensive, but it's also fun. Thanks, Chip.
Chip's doing a little summer language school. I'm still trying to master English. That's I got a ways to go.
You're not the only one. Chris Cato's been, well, we won't talk about Chris, but that storm, if it kept going west, it just kept going and kept going, maybe it'd end up in China, where it would need to know a little bit of Mandarin to get around. And that is something that these students are learning here at this school. We'll fill you in on how much they already know coming up. I would absolutely would. Here's where I'm at, though. How would Chick-fil-A B know that I already went to Chick-fil-A in my cow costume, much less Chick-fil-A C? Like, I'd be like, let's do a Chick-fil-A tour as cows and then really rake in the Chick-fil-A.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You don't think they're sharing photos of you, like, among the different franchises? Like, watch out for this guy. Look out for him.
He's already had his number
especially
one.
after this point, maybe now I'm on a wall somewhere.
You're kind of out there now.
Like, don't let this dude fool you. But what's so cool about that whole thing is, like, it actually ties into what we're doing here today, because when you dress up as a cow and go to Chick-fil-A, you are immersing yourself into Chick-fil-A culture. And that is the big idea here at ReDefiners World Languages. They are about immersion. So, for instance, we've stepped into the Mandarin class, and they have got pictures of the Terracotta Warriors up on the screen. They have music playing, and they are doing projects that have to deal with Mandarin. Chantel, you are founder and executive director of ReDefiners World Languages. I'll hold the microphone, don't worry. So give me a bit more into this, though. How did you come up with this? Why did you come up with this? And why do you guys do it the way that you do it?
Sure, great question. So my background is in language education. I teach English, and I've traveled around the world. I've lived in Korea. I've seen how languages are treated around the world, and I feel as though we've missed the mark a tad bit, and I know that language education really helps to expand opportunities. So I really couldn't find anything like this in the Tampa area. Okay. So this is why it exists.
So you teach English?
I am a English teacher,
okay,
yes.
That's good, because a couple of us on here folks will need some lessons. And we all decided after this. What are some of the other languages that you personally speak?
Personally, French is the second language I learned.
Okay.
However, my language learning career did not begin until high school, which is a little bit later than we need for to really be able to use this language.
Yeah.
So French, I lived in Korea, as I said, and I learned a little bit of Korean.
Okay.
I can understand some Mandarin and some Spanish.
Excellent. So then this program specifically, the summertime one,
Yes.
8 weeks, 5 days a week, 8-hour days.
Yes.
And the kids here, they've been doing that. It was June 10th is when it started,
Since
right?
June 10th until August 2nd, the
So-
kids are here all day, every day, because we believe in an immersive environment and really giving the kids an opportunity to really develop the language.
So we're about halfway through that. And I noticed, too, our instructors, they're not speaking in English at
No,
all.
of course not. So this is where the students get the opportunity to be immersed in the language. So they need to hear it in order to be able to produce it.
Wow. Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. Any of the students, you guys working, could I ask any of you guys a couple of questions? Would you be up for a couple of questions?
Sure.
Sure? Okay. So you've been doing this for about a month. What have you learned?
I've learned, like, clothes on me. Like, I know my shoulder and, like, the body parts sometimes.
Okay.
And, clothes. Like,
So you know a couple of words, and could you put a
And
sentence
colors.
together? Challenge time.
so if you ask me, like, ni hao ma, I would say wo hin hao, which means I'm good.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about, too, it's not just learning the language and the words, it's learning about the
culture, yeah.
What have you learned as far as the culture goes?
I've learned specific things about the food and how they eat it, like hot pot, and the culture and how they wear some clothes.
Okay.
And I think that's cool and different. Yeah.
So all in all, you're having a great time?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And that's what we want to hear. So we've touched on computer coding in Spanish. We have touched on Mandarin now. Coming up in our 5 o'clock segment, we head over to the Arabic classroom. And these are tricky languages. I've been spending time just standing in here, guys, listening. I would be so lost right now.
It's amazing. Yeah, you said this is an 8-week program. I mean, this isn't just a summer camp. This is intense.
Yeah.
It's all summer. So hats off to these students and their parents, too, for encouraging them to do this. That's great.
Thank you, Chip.
Coming up, it's a summer course meant to expand our minds and culture.
It's a camp for language, and Chip Brewster is checking it out. Hey, Chip.
Hey guys, and I don't even know if camp is the right word. Summer program definitely fits this bill because this is 5 days a week, 8-hour days, and there is singing, there's dancing, there are different kinds of alphabet songs. This is the Arabic alphabet song, at least Arabic alphabet song number 3. So we're showing you more about ReDefiners World Languages and their summer program and what these kids are learning.
So learning at least some foreign language at school, it's a pretty common requirement for most kids these days.
Oftentimes, it's one of the Romance languages like, Spanish or French. But our Chip Brewster is checking out a summer program that's offering a few other options, and he joins us now live in Tampa.
Okay, so what kind of languages are we talking about here?
Well, we were talking about Spanish very at the beginning, but then we went into computer coding because coding is its own language, right?
Yeah.
Then we went into a Mandarin classroom. Now we're in an Arabic classroom where the lesson is going on right now. They're actually going through different names of, it looks like articles of clothing, perhaps. I've got Chantel joining me. She's the executive director and founder, and it's cool because we're standing right in the middle of this.
Yes,
and our instructor is speaking 100% in Arabic as she guides the students through these different lessons. And that's a big part of it.
It is a very important part of what we do. We need to have the students learn in an immersive environment. The teachers speak 90% in the target language so that the students really have the opportunity to gain the language.
And it's quite an intensive thing, too. 8 weeks, 5 days a week, 8-hour days. When the students are all done with it, they're not fluent by any means, but where are they at? I know language is kind of a spectrum of learning. Where would you say most of them lead?
Sure. So definitely they won't be fluent, but by the end of this program, they're at novice mid-level. So we use a proficiency scale, and we're really tracking their progress. So at the end of this program, they have the opportunity to continue learning the language in our after-school program. So we're year-round.
So ReDefiners is not just a summer program.
No, by no means at all. So we are year-round. We have after-school, we have Saturday programs, and of course our summer program.
And that's one thing that we haven't really talked about. The summer program's been going on. It's a little late for someone to really get involved with the 8-week course. But how could someone get involved with ReDefiners during the regular school year?
Sure. We've just opened registration for the fall. So they can visit redefinerswl.org or call 813-530-2313 to register for the after-school programs. The programs begin August 26th.
Okay. And what would you say are the benefits to learning a not-so-common language as in school, such as Mandarin or Arabic?
Sure. These two languages have been chosen specifically because they are critical need languages. So when we think about the future, the students will have a plethora of career opportunities, but even more so thinking about the interactions that they have with the people in the community today.
Yeah.
We're really helping them to really dispel some myths about cultural differences and have a better relationship with people around them. So this is one of the most diverse language programs that we have in the nation. In fact, we're the only one in Florida that has been funded by the government to offer Arabic and Mandarin to youth. So we are definitely different, but even more so, we're the only one that has Arabic and Mandarin and Spanish together in one house.
And you yourself, you've used language as a career. You've been abroad teaching English. Can you give us a little taste? Let's see. I know French, right?
French is the second language I learned.
A little bit of français.
Okay, je suis prof de français. Je parle un peu de français, mais j'aime la langue.
I understood half of that. No, I really did. But if I ask you to speak a little Korean, I'm not going to understand anything.
Sure.
So what do you got Korean?
Nang sang-seng-nim, Yango sang-seng-nim. I'm an English teacher.
Did any of you guys understand those languages? No? Well, you're starting to learn Arabic, right? Who can say a sentence in Arabic in here? What can you say?
أغسل وجهي بالماء وأغسل أسناني بالفرشاة الأسنان.
What did you just say?
You wash your face with water and you wash your teeth with a toothbrush.
Nicely done. Hey, hygiene. That's super important. I'm glad that those are some of the first things that you guys are learning. All right, that is going to do it for us today from ReDefiners World Languages. If you've got a student out there who you think would be interested in developing some of these extra foreign language skills, then they are a great place that you can go to.
That is so impressive. It really is. And this is the age to learn it, too.
Yes.
You know, it sure
Thank
is.
you.
Yeah.